Welcome back, everybody, to day one of Softball America's Big Ten Media Days. And I'm thrilled because this is our first new team to the conference we're able to chat with today. Alongside me, I have Heather Tarr, who played at Washington, is now at the helm of her alma mater. Also, recently, Team USA's coach came out with some exciting news that we're going to get into today. But first of all, Coach Tarr, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us. We're excited to join and just proud to be a part of the new conference and excited that you're involved and helping promote the sport as it should be.
I mean, and I'm biased. I thought purple always was the best color in the Big Ten. So we get some more purple, which I love. I want to talk about the news right away that came out yesterday before we focus on Washington. But after 7 incredible years at the highest level you could ever coach, is coaching a national team, you were able to lead Team USA, some absolutely incredible women, collect a lot of medals along your way. What went into this decision of being able to focus on your Washington Huskies and put Team USA, I don't want to say aside because I know you're still going to be heavily involved with the women, but down for right now?
Yeah, it was a big decision, like just looking at 2028 as, the pinnacle of our sport and being involved at that level. I just felt like I couldn't give everything I needed to everything I needed to give to. So out of respect for that program, our program, I just felt like I can't do it right now. There's just too much I want to do at home and support Washington and what we're wanting to do and letting the USA softball program have everything it needs to endeavor the gold medal over the next 4 years. I just felt like I wasn't in it to do that right at this point. It kind of stinks because it is so far away, but just for my brain and my heart, I just felt like I needed to make that decision. So it'd been, a lot of months thinking about it, working through some things with USA softball, but I know they're in the right place for what they need to do to try to win that gold medal. But I just felt like I needed to make the decision. So it was good and I feel good about it.
And I know you haven't had a lot of time to reflect on it, but just even in the short time that you have, what was that honor like for you to be able to say you're head coach of Team USA and to represent this country and all of the incredible softball players in it?
Yeah, I don't even know if I've really taken a step back to think about it, but it was just kind of an opportunity that came up, I would say, through Ali Aguilar in 2017. She was a part of the elite team, and just watching her go through that journey through the USA softball process and be able to kind of vicariously live through her. And then Coach Erickson reached out to me and told me to get into the pool. And I was a little bit intimidated, to be honest, at the time. I'm thinking, I've never played at that level. I don't know. But to then look back now, I've been able to say I had that opportunity to help those women at the highest level. It was a complete honor. And then just knowing our Canadian women so well that have played in our program specifically, to be able to watch them carry their country to their first ever medal in the last Olympics, while at the same time, helping our USA women. It's just cool to see the game at that level and the passion and what drives those women, which I think there's a lot of things in alignment with how we think about things at Washington and my coaching philosophy and just the true love for the game. So it's just a really cool experience to be able to do that. And hopefully I can stay involved in some way and support those women and the coaches no matter what.
And I'm glad you brought up Allie's name because I think what's been also really special during this time is how many Huskies went on after playing for you in college, but they got to play on the national level, whether it was Team USA, whether it was Team Canada, and so many other teams. You guys just continue to develop your players so well. And honestly, it's kind of the perfect segue into talk about the team that you have right now because I would have to imagine this has probably been one of the most rewarding fall seasons for you with so many new faces. You're bringing in 60 new faces between transfers and then also first year players. Take us into what your fall has been like for you.
Yeah, it's been crazy just to watch our returning players. There's only 4 of them. So not to burden them so much on like, let's teach, what Husky softball is to a whole group of 16 new women, but they've done such a great job and just, kind of like humbly taken on that opportunity to be leaders. They're a lot of them are only sophomores. So both Giselle and Jaden came into this program last year trying to earn starting spots, and they did awesome last year. And then now to have the ability to watch them and help them navigate like a leadership experience, it's pretty cool. And the growth has been very rewarding to watch the freshmen just figuring themselves out, and even just the sophomore class that returned. And then yeah, the just trying to build the dynamic, because we do have some older players too that came in, and using their wisdom and their leadership along with just Jing Gardner and Haley Winkler, of course, Giselle and Jaden, as ultimate like kind of bearers of what this program's all about.
I think it brings up a really unique opportunity. As you mentioned, you brought in a lot of transfers with a boatload of experience, and now they get to use their wisdom they learned at other programs and make it very specific to what you guys need right now at Washington. And I want to talk about some of the names, because I think we say 16 new faces, and that's one thing. But I want to look at your pitching staff, because everybody will be a first year Husky. I have never heard of that before, but with that comes so many talented arms. Stevie Hansen coming in with over 300 innings down in Eugene. I know you faced her how many times. What is it going to be like now having her in your circle?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Just she's a cool kid. Like she has a lot to offer, and I know she's so passionate about what she wants to do in her last season. So just try to help her like just stay within herself and enjoy. She's won, a lot of games at the highest level, including the youth scene. Like she was, champion at that level. So it's really cool to have her involved in her experience. And it's kind of sad we only get her for 1 year, but she's been great. So have the others. Sophia Ramuno has a lot of experience from her time at Cal Poly, and just helping her know what it's going to take for her to compete at this level. She has the stuff to be able to do it. And then on down, of course, Riley Rabine had some good experiences in her first year at Montana. And then Morgan Reimer, freshman. It's been pretty cool to watch her growth and maturation. Of course, being a freshman, the world is ahead of her, and just all of them, all of the arms. Maddie Balk has a lot of hope in her coming from Florida State. She, didn't get to play as much as she wanted to, and she's still kind of developing and growing and evolving. So we'll see how all five do, but they're all pretty diverse, and at the end of the day, they're pretty competitive. So it's been fun to watch them.
And it has to be really exciting too, even though, Morgan Reimer's coming in as a first year player. Team Canada pitchers have served you well in the past, obviously, but for her to have that national experience, I mean, she's coming into college, I feel like, with honestly as the most experience you could possibly have against competitive hitters. Have you seen that kind of shine through her already, and just fall ball at bats with her taking on the mound?
Yeah, it has, and it's it's different working with players that have that national team experience, because they can see the game a little bit differently, whether it be in their own work ethic or, they're just, it's never good enough. The other day, our pitchers struggled a little bit against our offense, and we look outside, coaches are meeting after practice, and you're like, who's out there? What's going on? And Reimer's out there running, and it's 36 degrees, and she's probably just using it as an opportunity to reflect and
Yeah.
get on to the next. And I know other Canadian pitchers too that have kind of disciplined themselves in that manner. So she's definitely unique in that piece.
I love that. It's always a toss up as a coach. I feel like when your pitchers have a great day, it's like awesome, but now we need to work on hitting it, and vice versa. You're never
Mhm.
fully happy with that. And speaking of hitting, there's one person I want to talk about in particular. You're bringing in Kaylin DeBoer, and obviously a highly touted recruit, somebody who I know you're looking as an impact player right away in your lineup. Also, super interesting. Obviously, her father led Washington football to a national championship game. He leaves, but she stays. What were some of those conversations? And also, how excited are you to have her in your lineup this season?
Yeah. Well, Alexis is the player. Kalen's the
Oh,
dad.
yes. Thank
It's okay.
you. As
It's
he's in
okay.
my mind as well.
I know. He and I have a pretty good relationship and pretty special relationship. For the time that he was here, I would look to him like, kind of as a mentor, and watching how he did his work. I learned a lot from him. And then, by the way, we're recruiting his daughter. And I think what's special about her is that we were recruiting her and she was a part of looking at our program when her dad was the head coach at Fresno State. So we've been through, some times together. And I know that was just like tough for the Washington fan base and football program to, reach the pinnacle game of the football playoffs and get to the national championship game. And then, Coach DeBoer has that wonderful opportunity to consider coaching at a different level. And, props to him for earning that. And, Alexis is a pretty level head, and she, has to deal with all that comes with being a daughter of a, top football coach, but she's capable of dealing with it. And, he and they've raised a great kid, and she's fun to coach. She's very coachable. You can tell she's been a part of, a coaching family. She's watches and learns, and you tell her one thing and she figures it out, and it's going to be fun to be able to coach her.
I know it's going to be fun to watch this entire roster of so many exciting new faces, not only within your group, but also you're entering a new era of a conference. I know we talked about it earlier this fall, but for a lot of Big Ten fans who are learning you guys for the first time, what do you want them to really walk away and know about Washington softball and what they can expect?
I think just the foundations of our program is like, I mean, we're trying to always leave a legacy behind us, and we want to play with joy and passion, and make people keep coming back to watch us play. And whether that be in our energy or just how we stay in games for as long as we can, and just continue to evolve and get better. I'm excited for this group to be able to show the other side of the country what Husky softball is all about.
And heading into opening weekend with just days away, what would you say is the biggest goal of your group opening weekend? Just learning how to play with one another.
Yeah, I think it's an evolution. And I think for us, just seeing the perspective of the growth that is going to occur, and really just keeping our way about ourselves, and keeping our growth as our main goal, because we're going to go through some tough times. And I watch our football program, and even the men's basketball program specifically, go through kind of a lot of turnover, just kind of different groups in a different conference. And they're in every game, and some of these environments that you're going to compete in they're different. But I think for our gals, it's just growing and learning together and sticking together through the good times, the tough times, and not letting one thing define us, whether it's really good or not good.
Well, Coach Tarr, on behalf of myself, Softball America, and Big Ten, I know I've always considered Washington to be very special to me. I'm thrilled to have you in this conference and the rest of your team. And I just appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Sydney. I'm excited to watch you continue to help all of us elevate our brands within the Big Ten, and just appreciate, watching you in your career, and just having the opportunity to know you at this level. It's pretty special. So thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. And you gave a perfect intro earlier in this to Giselle, who we're lucky enough to have as one of your players. So you could swap places with her, but good luck in opening weekend. And again, congrats on everything, Team USA. Exciting to close that chapter and continue this one.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm excited to add my fellow third baseman, Giselle, to the show here. Here you go, G.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. Welcome on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. And I don't think you can get a better introduction than from Coach Tarr herself. And I know she talked about you. You're in such a fun, unique position, being one of 4 players on this roster who has played every single year at Washington as a returner. What has that been like for you, really having the role and the honor to explain what Washington softball is to so many new faces?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think Coach Tarr kind of spoke this out, but leaving a legacy, the girls before me, like my freshman year last year was a remarkable year for me, and I only have good memories. So, like, learning and asking all those previous girls questions that I never even thought of would have asked someone, but like learning from them really helped my growth. And I mean, saying goodbye to these girls was tough, but, like, everyone's doing what's best for them, and so, like, I too did what was best for me in staying, and the transfers, everyone, all the new girls, I feel like we've just connected instantly and leaning on each other and asking each other questions. It's not just me showing them, but those older girls are showing me, so it's amazing.
I love that. And I want to talk a lot about these new faces. And I want to hear it from the player's perspective, being teammates with all these new girls. We talked about 16 new faces. You have 9 transfers, 7 first year players. Like, what has stood out to you about this group?
Yeah. There's just so much. I mean,
I know.
their mentality coming in, the freshman is like, "I wanna learn. I'm here. I've made it. Now let's fricking do it," you know? And it's been really fun because they come to me with questions, and I'm like, "You know what? Like, I was you last year. Like, the questions you're asking me, I too asked." And so being able to answer their questions has been really fun and rewarding because I get to remind myself, like, "Oh, you know what? Like, at the end of the day, we're with each other," and the older girls, transfers, have been reminding me of this too. Like, we're here to have fun and compete. Like, we're at this level now, and we worked so hard while we were younger to get to where we are. And being here, it's super rewarding. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
When you go ahead and building and fostering these new relationships, that's done on the field, that's done at practice, but so much of it is also done off the field. And I want to know what that's looked like for you guys, and what have the team bonding activities been like, learning each other's personalities. Like, what have you guys been doing off the field to really foster and help that chemistry go before season even starts?
Yeah. So, right off the bat, we came back and kind of, like, open me and Jaden's house. We were like, "Oh, let's have, like, a game night, like, let's watch movies, just hang out, get to know each other," and so that was, like, a part of it, and then we also did the program. I think that was, like, a big part that got us all connected. It was like a one team, one heartbeat is what we like to say, and we were all with each other, like, we're all facing adversity with each other, might as well lean on each other and, like, get through whatever difficult times we're having.
Can you explain more about that, what that one program looks like?
Yeah. I would say the toughest part was when we were in a pool and we all had hoodies on, and while we were in the pool, we had to, like, take the hoodies off, switch. It was a lot, but we had to do it a couple times. The first couple times we were like, "Oh my gosh," like, just kind of, like, in our own heads
Yeah.
and, like, struggling, but it wasn't until we started, like, leaning on each other, boosting each other up, like, cheering, and found a way to make something so hard so fun, and now that I look back at it, I just, like, laugh because I'm like, "You know what? We found a way to do it," and it was just funny now that I think about it, so, yeah.
Which is amazing because I think that's the sign of every great team, is when you can make the hard really fun. And you've now played in college softball. There's ups and downs, there's late travel nights, but if you're able to make those hard moments fun because you're just with one another, that is so many special side, and it's amazing to hear you guys being able to create that already within the team.
Yeah, it's been super fun.
For you too, being able to come into a new conference, I want to know what that has looked like in terms of you guys talking about the new places you get to travel this season, facing so many new teams. It's a new chapter for you as well, even though you've experienced Washington softball already.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I think of, like, traveling, I'm just kind of excited to see, like, new places that I have never been to. So I wouldn't say I have a particular area where I'm like, "Oh, I wanna be here super bad." I'm just, like, super excited to see new things and experience new things with, like, my sisters, so, yeah.
And I know I talked to Coach Tarr about opening week already, but it's just around the corner for you guys. What are you most hoping that your team can take away, even in this first weekend, right away? Just learning one another, how to play alongside each other, because sometimes that's half the battle in itself.
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough weekend, but I think keeping a growth mindset. We've already worked so hard and put in so much work. And at the end of the day, it's going to be really rewarding to see what we can do good and what we maybe will struggle with, but overcome.
And one more thing I wanted to touch on is because you've talked so much about the sisterhood that you guys have created. And I think one thing that's really unique and special about your staff is the fact that you're looking to Coach Tarr, who has played it and brought Washington softball to new heights as a player for the very first time. But then on top of that, you're looking at Jen, you're looking at Courtney. You have so many people who have worn the uniform before you. How much have those conversations just been like from them of, I understand what you're going through, and here's how we get to where we want to get to?
Yes. These conversations are my absolute favorite because when we're in the SPC, like hitting on the field, doing anything, it's like they've been here. Sometimes I'm like, wait, you're right. Like it's never that deep or too like serious because at the end of the day, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to it and you were right. Like you were in my shoes. And I think Coach Jen told me the other day, she was like, you know what? I see a lot of myself in you. Like you want to be a perfectionist. And I'm like, I know. Is that too bad though? Like, is that really a bad? No, but like just find ways to make little moments a time for celebration. So
Mm,
like making minor adjustments is like super important. And I feel like sometimes we as athletes want the big things,
yeah.
but don't celebrate those little things. So
Mm, so well
remembering
said. Yes. And it's all of the little things that eventually lead to the big things. So if you can celebrate those, the game brings back to your point and the hard becomes really, really fun. Well, Giselle, as we wrap up, you obviously, we mentioned the new conference, new places you're going to play, but I want you to let everybody know who's wanting to tune into Washington. They're going to have opportunities on the Big Ten Network, FS1, to be able to watch you guys of why Washington softball? Why should they watch? Why is it special there? Why is it mighty are the women? Like, what is really so special about Washington?
Yeah. Well, with this new team, I would definitely say like we've had a legacy in previous years, but this team, it's going to be like making our own and creating our own. So remembering those who came before and adding our own little things to it. And we're still going to be that same super energized, super competitive Washington, but with our new little spice and flavor. So, yeah.
New little spice and flavors. That's enough to make me tune in. I can't wait for that.
Yes. Yay.
Well, Giselle, thank you so much for your time. You and Coach Tarr were wonderful. And I know Big Ten and everybody is excited to welcome you in with open arms. And also, good luck opening season, opening weekend coming so soon.
Thank you so much. I can't wait.
And for everybody watching, this has been Washington Softball. Stay tuned because just in a few minutes, we're going to be back with Penn State Softball. Giselle, thank you again.